I don't like to, outline the next steps we're taking against. I'd like to outline the next steps we're taking against the Omicron variant. Just since Thanksgiving, I've tapped Dr. Tom. I hope I pronounced it Inglesby. Correct? Is that right? When you're indoors in public places, you should wear the mask. And there are a lot, lots of different kinds of masks out there. And the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, the CDC, says that wearing a well-fitting mask of any of them is certainly better than not wearing a mask if it's well-fitting. What if over your nose?
I'm sorry, what? We've heard Joe Biden stumble before, but rarely in the history of ever. Have you ever heard a commander-in-chief struggle through a public speech like he did yesterday? Frankly, I'm honestly concerned about Joe's well-being at this point. Presidential historian Craig Shirley is a Reagan biographer, and my friend Jeffrey Lord is a contributing editor for American Spectator and former advisor to the Reagan White House. Craig, to you first, have you ever seen it this bad with any president in the history of ever?
No. I've been thinking about this a lot, Carl, and I've been researching this a lot. And there's no presidency in modern history or even in the past who shows such cognitive dissonance as Joe Biden. This man who's got a incipient problem, and it's bad for all of us because he happens to be the president of the United States. It's not just an old man walking down the street. He's in charge of the nuclear weapon and the nuclear bomb and trade deals and other embassies and negotiation and other things like that. And this is a man who I think he spends some part of his day maybe playing with finger paints or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure if the American people saw now what they saw back then, I don't think this guy could get elected to a principal of a homeschool. So let's dive into some of what he said. I want you to listen to this, Jeff.
Okay.
Now, I don't like to, outline the next steps we're taking against. I'd like to outline the next steps we're taking against the Omicron variant.
What was he trying to say, Jeff?
Well, Carl, what really disturbs here is we all know he was reading off a teleprompter.
Yeah.
This wasn't impromptu. I have no idea what he's saying. I mean, the fact that he says one thing and then contradicts it 2 seconds later, and he's looking at the actual printed words on the teleprompter, that's really bad. And, the Putins of the world watch. And I have to tell you this, Carl, on a personal note. As you may know, for a long time, I took care of my aging mother who passed away in 2018. She had dementia. And I was there up close and personal every single day. I watched her, and it was a general descent into this. That's what I see when I look at Joe Biden. He does things exactly like you just showed. Sometimes he doesn't know where he is. He can't remember names, etc. That is not good.
Yeah, our president has been reduced to a series of memes. So I want you to take a look at this one. This is amazing. Watch this.
To help lead our federal testing program, I've tapped Dr. Tom. I hope I pronounced it Inglesby. Correct? Is that right, Jeff? He's one of the world's leading infectious disease experts.
Inglesby. It's Dr. Tom Inglesby. You are appointing this guy to be in charge of stuff. You're announcing it at a press conference. You can't even pronounce the name. I mean, you guys must go way back, right, Craig?
I think his dentures were slipping. Maybe his polygrip fell off or something. It's a very simple name to pronounce. It doesn't seem very difficult, and as it was pointed out, is that he was reading off a teleprompter, for heaven's sake. He was being prompted. He didn't have to dig into the recesses of his memory to come up with that name.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, I am dyslexic. I have no college degree, and I look at it in the prompter when it comes up. It is plain as day to me to say Inglesby. I mean, I don't know, but Jeff, the craziest thing is the deer in the headlights look. Watch this.
Mr. President, can I have a message for vaccinated Americans who are wondering why they should continue to restrict their activities, given that your health officials say most Americans will get COVID at some point?
Folks, we'll talk about that later. Come on.
Why should Americans trust your administration to beat COVID when the virus is clearly winning?
On voting rights, do you think the Republicans that don't support voting rights?
The virus is clearly winning, sir. Why should Americans trust you?
President, appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Mr. President, do you believe Omicron is the beginning of the end of this pandemic?
Thank you so much, President. Thank you, President. Thank you.
How much longer do you think school kids will have to wear masks still?
Thank you, everybody. Appreciate you.
Maybe a press conference soon, Mr. President. We look forward to that.
Me too.
I mean, Jeff, I don't mean to be critical here, but this is actually like, I'm a little upset about this. Does Dr. Jill Biden have any responsibility here to defend her husband? Forget the presidency at this point. Did she hold any grounds here to protect him? It looks almost like elder abuse.
Yes, I'll make one contrast that I'm sure Craig knows about. In 1918, I think it was, Woodrow Wilson had a stroke. Mm-hmm. And
Yes.
he was out on a speaking tour in support of the League of Nations. They brought him back to the White House. A couple days later, his wife found him on the bathroom floor, unconscious, blood coming out of his head. First reaction, they get the doctor, put him in the bed, understand he's had a stroke. And what do? They conceal this from the American public.
Yeah.
The doctor tells Mrs. Wilson, do not let any decisions come his way because it would add stress and it could kill him. So they seal him off. His wife, his doctor, and his private secretary, a guy named Joe Tumulty, and basically seal him off. And they won't sign a statement of disability or anything. They just let him sit there and protect him. I have absolutely no doubt some version of that is going on with Joe Biden in terms of decisions made as to when and where and how to wheel him out there in public. Mm-hmm. I mean, they have got to be terrified of this press conference that's coming up here.
Yeah. I mean, and I genuinely feel bad for the guy because he doesn't know the difference. I mean, he's in a state of mind that is declining. So, Greg, we talked a few minutes ago about Joe Biden's arrest record. Now, he's claimed 4 different times that we did a little digging. Apparently, Joe is in a league of his own. We know George W. Bush was busted for a DUI back in '76. Apparently, Ulysses S. Grant was arrested in 1872 for speeding around D.C. in a horse and carriage. You can imagine the optics there. Now, President Pierce was arrested for accidentally trampling a woman with his horse. Craig, Are we missing something, or is Joe the only president to be, quote, arrested more than once?
No, apparently he's in an all-star league of his own as far as being arrested. Of course, there's no evidence whatsoever, no photographs, no paperwork, nothing proving his point. But I think that goes to what Jeff and I and you, Carl, have all been talking about is that this is a fabulist. I'm amazed with the ease of which he lies. That he tells these tall tales. There's no shame in him whatsoever. There's no concealment in him whatsoever. He tells it as if he really, really believes it. Yeah. And there's no evidence to prove it whatsoever.
Yeah, I mean, well, the other thing, guys, is that we know he's a liar because, like, he talked about winning the moot court competition. He was top of his class in law school. Like, these are all verifiable things. It's not like we're never going to find out. And especially in today's day and age with this thing called the interweb that Al Gore invented. Craig Shirley, Jeffrey Lord, we appreciate you being here tonight, guys.
Thanks, Carl. Thanks, Craig.